What's up, guys? Brian here. I just want to do a video about the overall cryptocurrency market, where we're at, some things to look out for, just some observations. So my price prediction for Bitcoin is $80,000 in 2021. My price prediction for Ethereum is $4,000, and my overall cryptocurrency market cap prediction is $2 trillion. Now we are currently at 1.5 trillion essentially, and the last bull market, we went up to about 800 billion. So we're definitely way past, as a market cap, we're way past what we were last time. Now, these are conservative estimates compared to a lot of other YouTubers that you see, which is part of the reason why I'm never going to have as many subscribers. Maybe the production value isn't as good, but I'm not going to just sit there and just paint this pretty picture and, just talk completely positive about all these projects, and then everybody gets dropped on their head. So you've seen, if you followed the channel for a long time, you've seen some of my buys, and days where things were crashing, I was sitting there buying in, and December 11th of 2018 would be a specific time frame. November of 2019, those were some days where we kind of came down hard, and I had the conviction to be buying in and taking positions. Now it's still hard to retain those positions, keep moving forward. Not everything's going to work out. You just have to basically win more than you lose. So a couple things that I've seen here recently. Now the Steam-backed dollar is up over $4, and it's supposed to be pegged to the dollar, and the high-backed dollar is up over $1 as well. Now what does this mean? So last boom cycle, the Steam-backed dollar got clear up to 16. It could not retain the peg because all boats will rise, and the way the mechanism works, it really just kind of like, pulls up these decentralized dollar-pegged assets. The Steam-backed dollar and the high-backed dollar are essentially a dead instrument against their underlying asset, but I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, but it is a telltale sign. When it falls under $1, the market is in extreme pain. When it is above $1, we're in a euphoric state. That seems to have played true in the past, and will likely continue to play true this cycle. So I think that it is a good indicator that, hey, we're starting to break away from the peg. It is above $1. Things could be heating up. Now, I think we have 3 or 4 weeks left in this cycle where we have very, very hard, aggressive moves. Now, why don't I think that it's necessarily going to last longer than that? I think that this thing got kicked off a little bit early. Black swan events like the GameStop situation, and then people piling into Dogecoin. And, Tesla buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and just Bitcoin prices had an aggressive run in fourth quarter of 2020 anyway. So with all the stimulus and everything like that, people are going for the hard assets, and real estate prices are rising, crypto prices are rising, stock prices, had some tremendous gains, all these kind of things. So now, one thing you have to note, that even if none of that would have happened, the halving event in 2016 took place in June of 2016. The halving event in 2020 took place in May of 2020. So it happened 2 months sooner. So we've had a longer run at this current block reward. And so if it's mainly supply and demand kind of situation, then that started earlier this time around anyway. So that's one thing to note. And then, as things get further into it, obviously we have currency crisis, in some of these different, nations, because of everything that's occurred in the world in the last year. And there's a lot of printing to try to get out of it, so on and so forth. So things have kind of happened a little bit early. Now, why don't I think that cryptocurrency is just ready to kind of like take over and become a reserve currency? Because there's so much FOMO into it that then when it creates thousands of % of gain on some of these assets like Cardano or Dogecoin or these kind of things, people are going to look to take profits, and they're going to look to buy like tangible assets for one. The goal is not to just sit there and look at a wallet balance and, you know, drool over some like huge balance in your wallet. The goal is to basically live a life of absolute freedom. You know, buy a bunch of, you know, whatever, snowmobiles, side-by-sides, boats, Lambos, whatever, go on a bunch of vacations and just have time freedom. You have to understand that retirement is basically a pot of gold at the into the rainbow, where you're rewarded with being able to control your own time. I control my own time right now. With cryptocurrencies, you can indefinitely control your own time if you play your numbers right. So being able to essentially go anywhere, do anything at any time, don't wake up to alarm clocks, blah, 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 blah. That's what people are chasing after with retirement. And obviously, like, cryptocurrencies can provide that kind of freedom, you know, just obviously without having to, you know, basically plug into a system for 30 or 40 years to chase after that kind of premise of retirement. Okay, so again, I want to talk about the dollar pegged assets kind of taking off. So I'm going to be monitoring that. Another thing I'm monitoring is more and more YouTubers pivoting their YouTube channels that they, you know, didn't typically talk about crypto, but now they're talking about crypto or completely pivoting. We've talked about that a little bit before. Cody Hawk typically make Amazon type videos, Amazon FBA. He pivoted his whole channel to kind of privacy and sort of talking about crypto. Value Tax, who really kind of gained a ton of following, came out of nowhere by basically doing update videos on the stimulus packages over the last year, has you know, pivoted and started talking more about crypto. I even saw him doing a video about KuCoin, how you can earn returns on KuCoin. So, you know, keep in mind, as that's good, like, it's exposing more people, so we're not like at the end of it by any means. But when everybody starts talking about something, then you're starting to get further along in the cycle. And the reason why I say there's only 3 or 4 weeks left is because, you know, even these crypto exchanges that, you know, typically would have been ready for something like this, even they have been like smashed with volume and almost like they're not ready, even though they should be ready. Different exchanges going down, obviously from Dogecoin, the Dogecoin surge. But also right now, Kraken and Voyager, you can't get new accounts on those. And others as well. It's just taking a lot of time to validate people and kind of go through all the rigmarole. So, you know, that typically doesn't happen until towards the end of the cycle, because you're trying to onboard so many customers that it can't, you know, take the volume. They don't have enough employees to kind of go through people's IDs or, you know, sort of validate accounts and all these kind of things. And so yeah, I mean, that's just typically something that happens in the FOMO stage. The retail FOMO has now finally showed up. You know, so that's, you know, that's sort of an interesting thing of just kind of where we're at with this whole thing. And you know, obviously I saw Graham Steffens. He made a Dogecoin video just like a day ago. You get some of these people that don't typically talk about it. They're going to start, you know, talking more about it. And so that's something to look out for. Now, how am I going to approach kind of the end of this whole thing? Well, there's a couple ways, and right now I'm investigating a lot into Pancake Swap is one thing I'm looking at, and the Binance Smart Chain actually kind of snuck up on us, guys. We were maybe looking at Ethereum, EOS, some of these other smart contract platforms, Cardano, these kind of things. But Binance actually created a parallel chain that is basically Ethereum 2.0 that is already out there, already exists, and, you know, pretty much is doing everything that, you know, Ethereum 2.0 is trying to purport to, that they're trying to do, that's supposed to come out in like 2 years. Which, you know, obviously scaling isn't easy, but it's sort of crazy that there's already other things out there that do work, but that the thing that's been the most successful is something that is essentially bogged down and has too much traffic on it for really what it can handle. Let's try to turn around here. Hopefully I don't get stuck in the snow. So yeah, like the Binance Smart Chain kind of snuck up on us, and it was something I didn't realize. I just thought the BNB token was basically save on fees on the exchange. Now, as more people onboard onto Binance, they're going to need BNB to, save on fees. And then also, there's the Binance Smart Chain that's running some of these DeFi applications like PancakeSwap. If you look at PancakeSwap, I was really impressed because you can go from like EOS to Cardano, EOS to Ethereum, EOS to Litecoin. You could do all these other assets. And the way they do it, there's a bridge called the Binance Bridge, or the Binance Smart Chain Bridge, that you can get those assets onto the Binance Smart Chain and trade in between them, and then when you get out of it, you can get back to the asset and get back on its originating network. So that is going to be very, very, very important. It's very interesting what they've done, and it kind of snuck up on us, to tell you the truth. Snuck up on me for sure. But when you look at PancakeSwap, and I'm still working on stuff in there, testing some stuff out, but I think when the tide goes out in this crypto market, PancakeSwap is going to be very, very, very useful, because there's some liquidity pools where you can kind of provide liquidity in between two different stable coins. And if both of them are supposed to be at $1 and you're, going between USDC and, the Binance USD, I think you're pretty safe there that they're going to maintain their peg, and, you can earn around 30% return. So, I think that's going to be very valuable when the tide goes out, that you're able to sit in stable coins and earn on those stable coins, and you don't have the threat of sort of maybe getting misbalanced in the liquidity pool. I'm still kind of playing with that, and also you don't have the risk of the underlying basically the token that exists on the DeFi platform, like Cake, for instance, in that instance, basically the value eroding from that if you were staking from that. So I have a strategic strategy with that I'm still kind of working out, and I'm in the money with Cake just because the value of it went up. And so basically take all my, if I take basically all my original investment out of the whole situation, and then just kind of play with the icing, and then ultimately when the tide goes out, really kind of providing liquidity from stablecoin to stablecoin, I think that'll actually be like a pretty good strategy, and I can avoid some of the downfall when the tide goes out. So that is one thing I'm looking at. But once again, I really think that we're in the sort of a later stage of this. Now, is it possible that we kind of have a peak maybe in March, and then things settle down, and then maybe fourth quarter things kind of come back up, maybe a little bit more like the 2013 boom cycle? It certainly could, but I'm trying to set myself up to mitigate my risk, so I'm not tripping out, I'm not stressing out if that doesn't happen. So that's kind of where I'm at, guys, and some of the things that I'm seeing out there. So as we see, but a lot of stuff isn't at its all-time high. That's another thing. That's why I say that there's a lot more run. Things like Cardano are not at their all-time high. We've got Litecoin that is not on an all-time high. We got a lot of their stuff that there's likely going to be some good price action that's going to come about in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I think we're good, chugging along as more people on board. and they're getting in. But as we know, when everybody's talking about this, everybody's getting super excited about it, you're in a later stage. You're in a later stage, because I can't tell you the amount of people that came out and basically said that I was throwing my money away, thought I was an idiot for investing in crypto when the market was falling. And you know, you have to be in position, you got to be strapped into the rocket to go up. And then when I've got, like, literally sometimes 5-10 people contacting me that I haven't heard from, you know, for a long time, and they're asked about this and that crypto, or how do they invest, or how do they get started, or something like that, that's a big red flag to me, guys. Very, very big red flag. It gets almost to a point where it's like, you almost don't want to tell them it's too late, because there is some run, but it's more than likely that they get caught on the wrong side of things, you know, and they're not in position, clearly, like I am, to, you know, sort of take advantage of certain things. But that being said, trying to stay conservative, and if you have price projections in your head, sometimes the market doesn't care. If you're following some of these YouTubers and you think Ethereum's going to 20,000, the market doesn't care that YouTuber said 20,000, or you think it's going to go to 20,000, because you have to ask yourself, are you buying at 20,000? $20,000 Ethereum, you know, that's pretty high, and the fees are already bogged down to where I'm to 2,000. So think about that. But I don't think that's going to stifle the crypto market. I think that it still goes up, even though there's tons of fees, because people are just going to buy on stuff like Kraken, on Coinbase, and it's going to sit there and they're never going to try to use it. They have no clue about how to move this stuff. They don't even know what they're buying. They're just trying to get in that it's going to go up, and they're going to, like, sell, you know, that's their plan. They're going to sell at a higher price, and they don't know what it is. They don't know how to use it, and they don't know how to move it. They don't know any of that. So just because the fees high, you know, it's frustrating for us, but that isn't going to stop people from getting in. So anyway, guys, what are you guys buying? Are you guys playing on some of the DeFi applications like PancakeSwap? And what do you guys think of the Binance Smart Chain, or have you looked into it? A lot of people don't know it exists, and it's just something I recently just kind of woke up to. So I'm still investigating. So anyway, guys, follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steemit, Twitter, Hive, DTube, Library, everywhere. See ya.